able to read and understand. And for Shanaz Appa, Ya Mola, we thank you for the opportunity to attend this session, to gain knowledge and understanding of our faith. We ask you to bless us all as we continue to learn and gain knowledge and put it all in practice and give us the understanding of our faith in the way you want us to understand. Ya Mola, accept all Shanaz Appa's seva, guide her in imparting her knowledge to all, and bless her with more seva. Ya Mola, forgive our errors and any shortcomings. Ya Mola, always keep your hand on our shoulder. Ya Mola, encompass and submerge us in your divine rahmah. May Mola bless us all with his spiritual strength to feel his eternal presence.
Amen.
Our permanent focus on our origin every second. Mola, keep us all in your tender, loving care and forever guide us on Sirat al-Mustaqim, the right path. Ya Mola, we pray for all those who are ill and all those we have lost due to this virus. Please make everybody well soon and bless all those who have passed away with your Zahiri Batini Nurani Pita. Amen. Thank you. Back to you, Salima.
Yes, we will take question answers now. I see hand raise, iPhone. Can you please unmute yourself? iPhone, please, can you unmute yourself?
I think that that iPhone has been on since the beginning. I wonder if she had a question or it was an accident.
Okay, so let's move to
Let's
Bashir.
go next person.
Yeah, Bashir Lalani.
Yeah, Ali Madat, Shanaz, thank you again. Very interesting topic. I have two very simple questions, just out of curiosity, nothing else. So the emphasis on Giryaozari that you reminded us is to get out of this mechanical habit of reciting Giryaozari Tasbih Jamaat Khana and pay more attention to it and have a more inner meaning, understanding of those Giryaozari. It's much more meaningful. So thank you for reminding us. Is there a particular order that you have for Giryaozari, or is it very subjective and open to any individual? That's one of my questions. The second one is, if you were to do zikr, you would probably want to do Giryaozari first before the zikr. And what if somebody is blessed with Ism Azam? Is there an order that you suggest? I don't know if I'm asking it correctly, but the importance of Ism Azam outside the given time is also important. So how do you balance that? If you can help me out there.
Thank you, Bashir. I'm finding it a little difficult to understand when you say order. I mean, order means sequence of Giryaozari, or does it mean that what do we include in Giryaozari? So
let's say what would you include in Giryaozari?
Yeah, okay. So like Giryaozari, because it is there, it is implicitly always implied, and even in Ismaili Tariqa, our peers, in fact, there is a beautiful narration of these Giryaozari of some of the quotations of Imam Zainul Abidin also. So you may recite Ginan to melt your heart in the beginning. You may choose the Ginans of Venti, which talk about your sinfulness and blessings of Mola and him holding your hand, making you sit in his feet. So these kinds of Ginans melt you, they create a love in your heart. Then you just talk to Mola. You know, the Jamaat Khana prayer, it is a given prayer because it's a formal and ritualistic prayer that Ya Maula, सबको ईमान की सलामती दे, या मौला ये कर. लेकिन जब आप individually बैठते हैं and you want to tell Maula that how hard-hearted are you today, how much you want to cry in his love but you can't. There are so many things bothering you of the world that you can't concentrate on Giryaozari. If you want to speak about all these things, there is little room in the formal and ritualistic tasbih of Jamaat. Jamaat tasbih is fine. It has to be short. It has to be formal. But after that, we can do it ourselves by including Ginan, Farman, and then talking to Maula by yourself. If you develop this habit, this will help you quickly. Like I just gave few examples, and I have some of recorded Giryaozari of mine, and there are some other Giryauzaris also. Aziz Bhai should have some of those, Mohammad Bhai and Aziz Bhai have some. So you talk to Maula, you implore, you beseech, and you may complain about yourself that despite trying, you can't overcome certain things, you know. And yes, you have to wait and stay. You may not find something happening that quickly, but ultimately you will tear up, you will feel softened at heart, and you will be able to do Giryaozari. So you can, I think that informal talk which a moment does with Maula, it's very important. You remember that story that there was a shepherd and he used to pray to Allah that, oh Allah, come, I will make you drink the milk of my goats, and I will clean your head. And Hazrat Musa passed from that part and he said that, what kind of prayer are you doing? Allah does not need your milk and this thing. And then he kept quiet because he was asked not to do Giryaozari. So Allah asked Musa that he heard a mu'min who was doing a Giryaozari with simplicity, according to his own knowledge. And since it's a private prayer, so don't worry about the words, don't worry about the way you are doing it. It is just opening up your heart and getting connected. That sense of connection is important. The moment you get connected, the first thing, you might tear up, and you then see a flow in your talk. You see that you are talking to Maula and it's continuously flowing. So that's a sign that, oh, the connection is there, but you have to gradually progress. So these are the things you should be including in your Giryaozari.
Next question.
Okay, and very, very quickly, please, can you enlighten me, the Hazrat Yahya, what was his biblical name? Was it Joseph?
Joseph is Yusuf. Yahya's biblical name, if Khayal is there, could you please help?
John the Baptist.
Yeah.
Oh, John the Baptist? Okay.
Yeah, I think that is the one, but Khayal or Khalil, if anybody is there, please
That's
confirm.
Fine. I can look it up. I just didn't remember, but thank you very much.
Yeah, that's okay. Thank you, Bashir. Thank you.
AE, please unmute yourself. AE, please unmute yourself.
Am I unmuted? Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent lecture. I think what you are saying, like if somebody could freely do Giryaozari and can cry and all that, that's totally free, very free person in doing all those things. Person who is totally not restrained, he can do all those things. But when you go to Jamaat Khana, and let's say you do the Giryaozari and you feel like crying, and if you cry, for example, people would say this person, man or woman, is having some issues back at home, probably, you know, because people do not understand those things. And you know, the Ginan that I can trace back, that that Moti Verana Chandan Chokman, and then she started to get the Moti and all that. So in Ismaili, I'm just looking at Islam, like Prophet said that people have become Muslims, like they say Shahada, but they have not submitted to Allah in that sense. We are born Ismailis, but we are not all committed Ismaili to that level of degree. So probably Giryaozari you do at home, you can cry, you can do sujood and all that. That's great. I like that. You know, I believe that you should create a little spiritual place in your home, and where you have sort of your own thing, and you pray and you do that, that will be great. Because I do note that if somebody does that, and it's for the society that we live in, our people are very sophisticated people, westernized people. Their thinking would be very different, and it would be very hard. So it's you have to restrain yourself not to. If you happen to be crying, you have to see that you don't cry. You know. So that's what I feel. I don't know.
Yeah, you are very right. I think it's because of lack of knowledge, because of lack of knowledge of our history, the way prophets prayed, the way peers prayed. And I think, yeah, you're right that in a formalistic society that we feel crying is a sign of weakness. And if you cry in Jamaat Khana, definitely somebody will approach you and ask you some funny question. And then you hide your tears. Yeah. I think gradually, I also believe that a time of spiritual cycle is getting so close that it will touch more and more hearts, and crying will become something which we'll be able to do in Jamaat also. Like in Didar of Diamond Jubilee, I could see that the Didar we had for Jubilees, and Diamond and Platinum Jubilees, Diamond Jubilee, and yeah. So these Didars, for the first time, I saw more and more Jamaat crying. I don't know if my experience was limited. We had small groups coming for the Didar. The last Didar in 17 we had in Pakistan. But you could see more eyes wet. You could see more hearts transformed. So with the beginning of a spiritual cycle, this becomes a common thing also. And yeah, this one thing we should get over with, that crying is okay in Jamaat Khana, but unless our Jamaat is educated about it, I can appreciate what you say. When Imam has said that you can go for personal search, this is personal search. And if you are melted, you may tear up in Jamaat Khana. But I know what you are hinting at. I have faced it so many times, you know. And I believe that before you start a lecture, you should do some Giryaozari. So that helps. And in Jamaat Khana, it becomes very difficult to do that. But you can see the results in your speech. You can see the results in your arguments, the strength of your talk. And then you believe that it has a barakah, it has a blessing. And if you are doing it, congratulations to all those who are trying. Perhaps we should be trying to do it more in the light of knowledge and wisdom now, that this is an essential practice of Islam. And you see the other sects of Islam. Now in Pakistan, on television, people come, they cry, and they are praying at different occasions. And why should we Ismailis be always feeling that, no, it is not okay to cry because we live in a society? So gradually, I think with the education, Jamaat may also learn. I just want to quote one or two verses of Sayyidina Hassan bin Sabah. There is a famous munajat in which says, Ba'ahu na'lahu zari o hasrat, zi ghaflat mande dur azrahe daulat. अब मैं आहें भरता हूँ, फरियाद करता हूँ, रोता हूँ, अफसोस का इजहार करता हूँ, क्योंकि गफलत की वजह से मैं कामयाबी से बहुत दूर रह गया हूँ. हमेशा हासिल अस्तु माया मन, मनम चूं तिफल व लुत्फत दाया मन. मुझे रूहानी सरमाया हमेशा तुझ ही से मिला है. मैं एक शीरखार बच्चे की तरह हूँ और तेरी मेहरबानी मेरी दाया है. I mean, he says that I sigh, I implore, I cry, because due to ghaflat, due to ignorance, due to neglectfulness, I have come very far from the path of success. And in other words, he says that whatever spiritual wealth I get, it's from you. And I'm like an infant who is on milk of his mother, who is nourished on the milk of his mother. And your blessings and your help is like my nourisher. So a beautiful example is given in some of the articles of Allama Sahib. He says that when a child cannot speak, he cries. This is the law of nature. And when he cries, you can interpret his cry into different statements. What is he saying? He cannot tell you what is wrong with him. He's saying, my bed is not comfortable. My clothes are wet. I am hungry. So these are some of the messages he is giving. And mother tries to understand one after the other. Imagine she is a worldly mother and she's trying to understand oh, the child might need that. Oh no, the child might need that. Or last time when he was crying, I did that. And that helped him and that did not help him. I mean, a mother goes crazy trying to understand why his child is crying. So when we don't have spiritual tongue, when we cannot talk to Mola in that sense that we should be talking, then what else could we do? We can cry. And he is more affectionate a mother than any mother of the world. And he may come up with so many interpretations of what is happening to us. And then he will be showering his blessings. Like a worldly mother gets restless, completely restless. She forgets her sleep, she forgets her food, and she gives attention to the child. So yeah, so that is what the spiritual mother is doing. So we are infants in our spiritual life, and it is okay for infants to cry. In fact, it is important for them to cry. And let the spiritual mother interpret what we need, because sometimes we don't even need what do we, or we sometimes we don't even know what exactly do we need for spiritual progress. And then through Giryaozari, we are guided by those principles. So yes, I think Jamaat should know gradually.
I feel probably this COVID is one of the blessing. I see like what you are doing, and I can see response of the other people. This may be the blessing in which people are trying to realize spirituality is very important. That's what I see in the people, that realizing spirituality is very important. Sometimes I ask myself a question, and in the Quran, it is somewhere, I don't know whether I'm right or wrong, that not the Quran, but it's like a tree with the dry leaves that will just fly off when the wind comes, and then the green leaves are the one that will stand there. And then in the Quran, it is said that we'll replace one people with another people. And when I come in contact with so many European and so many the whites who are becoming Muslims, whether they become a Shia Muslims or Sunni Muslim, doesn't matter. But they have such a brotherly or sisterly feeling. I feel very close to them than I feel to my own people. If I'm in Smiley, I go to Smiley. And they have just found the Shariat, and they are so happy. What will happen when they will find the tariqat and go all the way to these marifat ideas and all that? Because I talked to a scholar, she had her PhD in a Shariati khutbah she used to give. And I told her one day, why don't you talk on the spirituality? And then I quoted Imam Jafar Sadiq. He says, I mean, where do I find all this material? So it's once she did that, she started 3 khutbahs I've seen her giving in spirituality. Every time she remembers me, said, whenever I make khutbah for spirituality, I remember you. So it's once they get to that, that is what's important.
I'm sorry, many people are waiting.
Can sure. Okay. Right, I'm finished.
Yes, you are right.
I'm finished.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We have a request in the chat. Shanazapa, somebody is asking, could you please demonstrate an example of Giryaozari in your beautiful voice?
Okay. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. या मौला, आज की इस महफिल में तेरी पाक गिरियाज़ारी के बारे में हमने कुछ गुफ्तगू सुनी। ए खुदाबंद, एक आशिक को अपने मौला के लिए आंसू बहाने में क्यों शर्म आनी चाहिए? एक मोमिन को अपने मौला के इश्क में रोने से क्यों शर्म आनी चाहिए मौला? ए मौला मेहरबान, तेरे पाक और पाकीज़ा हुजूर में हम बहुत आजिज़ी से दुआ करते हैं मौला। हमारे गुनाहों को बख्श कर मौला, हमारी फरियाद को सुन मौला। दीन और दुनिया की वो रोशनी इनायत कर जो तू अपने मोमिनीन के लिए चाहता है मौला। ऐ खुदावंदे दो जहान, तेरी पाक और पाकीज़ा सिफात पर हमारी जाने कुर्बान, हमारी औलाद कुर्बान। अगर ये सब कुर्बानी सिर्फ ज़बानी हो और हम अपने अमल से कुछ जाहिर न कर सकें, तो कितने अफसोस की बात होगी मौला। हमें तेरी पाक मोहब्बत में आंसू कुर्बान करने हैं मौला। हमें मालूम है कि तू दुनिया की किसी और चीज से खुश नहीं होता मौला। तू मोमिन के आंसुओं से खुश होता है, اس کے آنسو تیرے لیے ڈائمنڈز ہیں، مومن کے ٹیئرز تیرے لیے ڈائمنڈز ہیں، تو اس کا نیکلس بنا کر اپنے گلے میں پہن لے گا، اس کی ہیروں کی مہمانی کو قبول کرے گا۔ یا مولا تیرا ظاہری گھر بہت دور ہے، تیرے ظاہری گھر پہ ہم سب کو آنے کی اجازت نہیں ہے مولا، نہ تیرے لیے ظاہر میں یہ ممکن ہے، لیکن تیرا باطنی دروازہ کھٹکھٹاتے ہیں مولا، تیرے باطنی دروازے پر نوک کرتے ہیں مولا، تجھ کو پکارتے ہیں مولا۔ زندگی کا بہت سا وقت غفلت میں گزر گیا مولا، بے علمی میں گزر گیا مولا، دنیا کے معاملات کو سلجھاتے سلجھاتے زندگی کا بہت سارا وقت چلا گیا مولا۔ یا مولا مہربان ہمیں توفیق دے کہ ہم اپنی روحانی زندگی کو پا سکیں مولا، ہم اپنے روحانی مقصد کو سمجھ سکیں مولا، تجھ سے فریاد کر سکیں مولا، تجھ سے شکایت کر سکیں مولا، اپنے نفس کی شکایت کریں کہ وسوسوں سے عبادت میں بار بار خلل ڈالتا رہتا ہے، اپنی عادتوں کی شکایت کریں مولا کہ ہماری عادتیں ہم کو بار بار زمین پہ گرا دیتی ہیں، ہم تیرے ذکر کی رسی کو پکڑتے ہیں، اس کو لے کر آگے سے آگے چلنے کی کوشش کرتے ہیں، مگر ہر بار زمین پر گر جاتے ہیں۔ اے مولا مہربان ہماری روح کی ضرورتوں کو تو سمجھتا ہے مولا، جس طرح ایک بچے کو معلوم نہیں کہ اس کی کیا ضرورتیں ہیں، اس کی روحانی زندگی میں اس کی روحانی آنکھ کیسے پیدا ہوگی، اس کے روحانی کان کیسے کام کریں گے، اس کی روحانی زبان کس طرح سے بولے گی۔ یا مولا مہربان ہم بچوں کی طرح ہے، ہمارا ہاتھ پکڑ لے مولا، ہمیں تنہا مت چھوڑنا مولا، تو اپنی رحمت کے ساتھ ہمارے پیچھے پیچھے اس طرح سے چلنا جیسے ابھی ابھی چلنے والے بچے کے پیچھے پیچھے اس کی ماں چلتی ہے مولا۔ جب بچہ چلنا سیکھتا ہے تو ماں دو ہاتھ پھیلا کر اس کے پیچھے چلتی ہے، وہ بچے کو گرنے نہیں دیتی، وہ بچے کو پڑنے نہیں دیتی، وہ اس کو گود میں اٹھا لیتی ہے۔ یا مولا ہمیں تنہا نہ چھوڑ مولا، ہمیں معلوم ہے کہ تو نے ہمیں تنہا نہیں چھوڑا ہے، ہماری اپنی غفلت کی وجہ سے ہم تجھ تک نہیں پہنچ پا رہے ہیں، لیکن ہم تجھ سے دعا کرتے ہیں مولا، یہ دعا خود کو جگانے کے لیے ہے۔ ہم جانتے ہیں کہ تو نے فرمایا سپرنگ ہو یا آٹم ہو، سمر ہو یا ونٹر ہو، ماؤنٹینز ہو یا ریور ہو، تیرا عشق، تیری نگہبانی، تیری سرپرستی، تیری محبت ہمیشہ ہمارے ساتھ ہے، تو ہمیشہ ہمارے ساتھ ہے مولا۔ لیکن یا مولا مہربان اپنی غفلت کی وجہ سے ہماری آنکھوں کے سامنے تاریکی کیوں ہے مولا؟ ہماری زندگی کا مقصد تیری محبت، ہماری زندگی کا مقصد تیرا دیدار ہے، تو تاریکی کے ڈارکنیس کے اس ویل کو اٹھا لے مولا، اس پردے کو اٹھا لے مولا۔ تیرے پاک دیدار کی تمنا میں ہمارا دل روتا ہے مولا، پیروں نے کتنی عاجزی سے تجھ سے درخواست کی ہے کہ تو ان کو اپنا پاک اور پاکیزہ دیدار عنایت کر۔ یا مولا مہربان دنیا کی زندگی میں تو نے بہت نوازا، تو نے اپنی جماعت کو خصوصی طور پر بہت نوازا، زمین سے آسمان تک لے گیا، فرش سے عرش تک لے گیا۔ یا مولا روحانی زندگی میں کیسے آگے بڑھیں؟ اگر جسم اور جسمانی زندگی مکمل ہے مگر روحانی زندگی مکمل نہیں ہے تو پھر یہ موت ہے مولا۔ جس دل میں عشق نہیں ہے وہ مردہ ہے، جس دل میں روحانی ترقی کی خواہش نہیں ہے، درد نہیں ہے، وہ زندہ ہونے کے باوجود مردہ ہے مولا۔ خدا بندہ ہمیں ایسی مردگی سے بچا لے مولا، ایسی موت سے ہمیں باہر نکال دے مولا۔ تو ہماری مشکلات کو آسان کر مولا، ہماری جو ظاہری مشکلات ہیں، باطنی زندگی کی مشکلات ہیں، ان مشکلات کو تو آسان فرما مولا۔ مشکل آسان یا علی، مدد رسان یا علی، 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 یا علی تو رحم کر، یا مولا تو فضل کر، یا علی تو رحم کر، یا مولا تو فضل کر، یا علی تو رحم کر، یا مولا تو فضل کر، یا علی تو رحم کر، یا مولا تو فضل کر۔ یا مولا مہربان، یا خداوند تو دو جہانوں کا مالک ہے مولا، اسماعیلی جماعت کو تو نے کتنا نوازا ہے مولا۔ یا مولا ایسا نہ ہو کہ ہم سے ناشکری ہو مولا، ہم سے ناقدری ہو مولا، تیری پاک محبت کو ہمارے دل کے اندر جاگزین کر مولا۔ اگر تو مست مولا ہے تو آجا اشک برسائیں، تجھے گر فکر فردا ہے تو آجا اشک برسائیں، اگر دل اس سے غافل ہے صدا شیدائے باطل ہے، بہت ہی دور منزل ہے تو آجا اشک برسائیں، دل غمگین فدا ہو جا اسی میں تو فنا ہو جا، اگر یہ کام مشکل ہو تو آجا اشک برسائیں، صدائے گریہوزاری طبیب عشق سنتا ہے، اگر اس کو بلانا ہے تو آجا اشک برسائیں۔ یا مولا گریہوزاری اگر روحانی زندگی کی پہلی سیڑھی ہے تو دل و جان سے تیرے حضور میں رونے کی ہمت عطا کر مولا۔ یا مولا اگر اسی سے روحانی آنکھ کھلنی ہے، پیغمبروں جیسی عبادت کا ثواب حاصل کرنا ہے، ان کی طرح آگے بڑھنا ہے تو ہماری مدد فرما مولا، ہماری دستگیری کر مولا، ہماری مشکلات کو آسان کر مولا۔ یا مولا اس وقت لائن پر تیرے سننے والے جو مومنین ہیں، یقیناً ان میں سے کچھ کی آنکھوں میں آنسو ہے مولا، کچھ کا دل درد سے اس وقت تیرے محبت کے درد سے پر ہو چکا ہے مولا۔ تیری جماعت تجھ کو بہت چاہتی ہے مولا، تیری جماعت تیرے عشق میں قربان ہے مولا، اسی لیے دنیا کے لوگ حیران ہیں کہ یہ جماعت کتنی الگ جماعت ہے، کتنے خاص لوگ ہیں۔ یا مولا مہربان کسی عاشق کی آنکھوں کو خشک مت رکھنا مولا، کسی لور کی آئیز کو ڈرائی مت رکھنا مولا، ہر آنکھ میں آنسو دینا مولا، ان ہیروں کی مہمانی کو قبول کرنا مولا۔ ہم بہت غریب ہیں مولا، بہت مسکین ہیں مولا، روحانی دولت سے ہم بہت غریب ہیں مولا، ہمارے پاس تجھ کو دینے کے لیے کچھ نہیں مولا، تو صرف دنیاوی چیزوں سے خوش نہیں ہوتا، اس لیے ہمارے آنسوؤں کی اس مہمانی کو قبول فرما مولا۔ یا مولا جو مومنین یہاں موجود ہیں اور جو دوسرے مومنین تجھ کو چاہتے ہیں، ان کی حرمت سے ہماری مشکلات کو آسان کر مولا۔ ان میں سے جو مومن تجھ کو بہت پیارا ہے، جو صبح 3 بجے اٹھ کر سجدہ کرتا ہے، جو تیری اسم اعظم کی عبادت بھرپور کرتا ہے، جو جماعت خانے میں تیری خدمت کرتا ہے، ان کی حرمت سے مولا ہماری اس عاجزانہ گریہوزاری وینتی کو تو اپنے حضور میں قبول اور مقبول فرمانا۔ یا شاگر تیرا اوگن بہت ہمیرا، ہماری بہت سی مشکلات हमारी बहुत सी गफलतों, कोताहियों और गुनाहों को माफ करना मौला, और हमारी इस गिरियाज़ारी को अपनी हुजूर पर नूर में कबूल और मकबूल फरमाना। अल्लाहुम्मा लका सुजूदी व तौअती।
थैंक यू सो मच शहनाज आपा। एक और हैंड रेज है, खलील लालानी, कैन यू प्लीज अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ?
यालिमा शहनाज टीचर,
या अली मदद खलील।
आपके गिरियाज़ारी सुन के आंख में आंसू आ गए। मेरा एक अभी जो पिछले एक दो सवाल आए कि गिरियाज़ारी करने से आंसू निकलते हैं और जमात खाने में अनकंफर्टेबल फील होता है अपने को, तो मुझे ऐसा पहले होता था, लेकिन मेरा ये सोचना है कि अगर आप खुदा से बात करते हो और आप उस खुदा से कनेक्ट होते हो, तो उसके बाद दूसरे दुनिया क्या सोचती है उससे अपने को कुछ लेना देना नहीं है। You know, I feel like when you connected to God, you don't care like what other people are thinking about you. If they come to you and ask you some questions, you don't have to worry about it. They will understand like you're trying to talk to God. Because of that, your tears are coming out. Okay. So मेरा ये personal experience है कि I used to think the same way. अरे मैं ऐसा आंसू बहाऊंगा तो लोग क्या सोचेंगे? But now I don't think. When I get connect, I don't care like because my eyes are closed and I'm just talking to God. So I don't worry like what other people are thinking. तो मेरा ऐसा सोचना है। और मैं खाली एक I just wanted to tell you like because listening to your lectures and listening to the lectures of Allama Nasir, I have got tremendous knowledge and I'm progressing towards spiritualism. So I want to just thank you for everything your lectures has given to me. So thank you very much, Shehnaaz teacher.
Thank you, Khalil. This is a common treasure of our spiritual father. Whatever knowledge and wisdom we have in Ismaili Tariqa, ये सब हम मोमिनों की मीरास है. And I really liked what you said, that when you are intoxicated, you really don't care who is passing, who is there, who is looking at you. तो मोहब्बत और इश्क में जब एक पॉइंट आता है, तब आदमी इन चीज़ों से गुजर जाता है. जैसे दुनिया की मोहब्बत में भी कुछ लोग उसका ओपनली एक्सप्रेस करते हैं, रोते हैं, दीवानगी वाली हालत होती है, बट दे डोंट केयर. सो यस, अगर इश्क में वो पॉइंट आ जाए, देन वी रियली डोंट केयर हु इज लुकिंग एट अस, हु इज सेइंग व्हाट अबाउट अस. सो यस, लेकिन ये कंटिन्यूसली गिरियाज़ारी के बाद ये शौक जो है वो जिंदगी में होता है. और जो कुछ इल्म मेरे पास है, तो ये बात सही है कि ये सब मौला की मेहरबानी है. और इसके बाद अल्लामा नसीर हुंजाई साहिब की किताबों से और उनके लेक्चर से मैंने बहुत फ़ायदा उठाया है. और इंशाल्लाह गिनानो फरमान में और हमारे दूसरे बुजुर्गों की किताबों से उसको रिलेट करके हमें अपनी रूहानी तरक्की करनी है. और हमें इस इल्म से पूरा फ़ायदा उठाना चाहिए जो इस्माइली मज़हब में हमारे बुजुर्गों की सूरत में हमें मिला है. थैंक यू खलील.
Thank you.
There is a question in the chat.
Yes.
Can you ask that or you want me to ask?
Please, you can ask, Zainat Appa.
Somebody is asking, Zapa, can we say Ya Rabbal in Jamaat Khana?
She means Ya Rabbala Beggar.
Rabbal. Sorry, go ahead, Salima.
She was asking, can we recite this tasbih Jamaat Khana, Ya Rabbala Beggar da Bahake Shah?
Acha.
Okay. Ya Rabbala Bigardan Behakke Shahi Mardan. If I've understood and listened to it correctly, this was one of the tasbih given to Rangoon Jamaat or by Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah. But perhaps I need to verify. So this is Ya Rabbala Bigardan. It means that, O Mawla, let the bala, let the affliction go away let the calamity pass, or it just turn its direction. That is the exact meaning, because a Persian tasbih. Behakke Shahi Mardan, for the sake of Shahi Mardan, that is Maula Murtaza Ali, that for the sake of Shahi Mardan, let every bala, every mushkil, every affliction change its direction, or let it go away. So, because tasbihat, the variety of tasbihat have deeper and in-depth meaning, and they all help us. In fact, I was looking at the questions of when we did Hazrat Yunus's tasbih. They are mostly all about different tasbihs. So if we all deem it appropriate, perhaps we can do a session about different tasbihs. There are prayers of Paigambars. These are tasbihs. There are suggested prayers by imams. They are tasbihs. So I think from the garden of tasbih, whatever fruit we pick, if we understand its meaning, it will really help us. So Ya Rab Bala Bi Gardan, Behakke Shahi Mardan, it was given at a time of affliction and calamity. But because we have to progress spiritually, and Nafse Amara is the biggest calamity in our life, in the way of a spiritual progress. So we can recite this tasbih for Zahiri thing, we can recite this tasbih for Batini progress, and even in Jamaat Khana, while we are doing our own tasbih, we can do any tasbih we want. We can do sajda, we can do tasbih, because that is a free ibadat. There is a part of ritualistic ibadat which is important with the decorum of Jamaat Khana and in the with the guidance of Maulana Hazrima. But then there is a personal ibadat which you could do. So yes, this tasbih or any other tasbih, you can definitely do that. So this has a meaning and impact. Ya Rab Bala Bi Gardan, Bihakke Shahi Mardan. Ya Maula, bala ko pher de, Hazrat Shahi Mardan ki hurmat se, is mushkil ko pher de, is mushkil ko aasan kar de. So yes, we can recite it in our personal prayers, in Jamaat Khana, outside Jamaat Khana, utte baitte, raste mein chalte hue. Like if we make it a habit to recite few tasbihs for 7 times, 3 times, or 40 times, we can do an etikaf of tasbihs by ourselves. Like we last time talked ke La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu minaz zalimin wali tasbih jo hai, wo hum pad sakte hain. उसको हम 7 मरतबा शुरू करें, 40 मरतबा पढ़ें, जितनी मरतबा पढ़ सकते हैं पढ़ें. So yes, tasbihat could be recited in Jamaat Khana while you are praying personally and in your own personal search at home. Because religion does not start when we enter Jamaat Khana, it does not finish when we leave Jamaat Khana. And I think COVID has taught us a very good lesson of life, that how we can have Jamaat Khana at home, how could we enlighten our own personal Jamaat Khana and pray in that. So yes, you can recite tasbihs in your personal prayers.
Jasmine, can you please unmute yourself?
Yali Madad Apa,
Yali Madad Jasmine,
how are you?
I am fine, thank you.
Shukar. I had, I think 2 or 3 questions. The first one is, why do we yawn a lot more when we say dua or salwat, especially beginning of Jamaat Khana ceremonies? That was one question. Then for Nadin Ali, is there specific amount of times you can say Nadin Ali?
Okay.
And what was my third one? You can answer those 2 if you can, please.
Okay, Jasmine, did I understand you correctly? You say that why do we yawn? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's a very common thing which happens to perhaps all of us. It's yeah, I mean, I exactly have not thought about it as such, but like it's a sign that you are bored or you are not focusing or you're not concentrating. So anytime when you you decide that you have to do some ibadat, you have to get something done, then the waswasas and shaitan tries to keep you back from that. And there could be things. Yawning is one thing. You might feel that, oh, your leg is paining, your back is paining. Yesterday, somebody told you that you are feeling weak, you look weak. So since I am weak, I am not sitting. I mean, all kinds of vasvasas attack as soon as you sit. So it is through Giryaozari that you will be able to reduce those things. And yeah, yawning is one thing which keeps happening with people. In the beginning, it happens a lot. But even if, I mean, I believe that 4 to 5 ibadat jo karni hai, even if the time is up and we feel that we are not ready, we can perhaps spend some times in internal Giryaozari, talking to Mola within ourselves, with an inner voice, and wait up to the point where we feel that our heart is melted and now we are ready, and then we start the Isme Azam Ibadat, rather than sitting all 1 hour and not being able to focus and concentrate. Principally, we should be doing it before the Ibadat starts, but it's okay if you spend 5 to 7 minutes preparing yourself. If you have not if you woke up late and now you don't have time and the time of Bandagi started, so you can take some time to prepare yourself. So I think Shaitan tries to attack from every side because he wants to stop everybody who is trying to connect spiritually, because this is what he is here for, and he does not like Momins getting connected, and he tries to throw stones or block their ways. So, and this could be because of our physical fatigue. I believe that when you do Giryaozari, you need less amount of sleep. Like Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah have said, कि मोमिन के लिए 2-4 घंटे सोना भी काफी है. The doctors of this world would not say that because our body needs the rest. But with Giryaozari, you, like moments, reduce their sleep with continuous Giryaozari. So I think that yawning or feeling, having that feeling of fatigue or not prepared, that will go away with constant Giryaozari, and a point will come where you will feel connected. You may not see anything, you may not listen to anything right now, but you feel that your heart is there now at that particular point, and now you can concentrate from now onwards, you know. So yeah, it could be one of the physical phenomena. It could be that Shaitan is trying his best to keep us away, and I think Giryaozari will help, but it takes time. Because if we have not cleaned our heart for a long time, it will take time to take that impurity out. But we don't have to give up, and we have to keep trying. For the other question, Nade Ali, I mean, in Quran, there is an indication that one can do an etikaf for 3 days. There is an indication that one can do, 7 days are important. 11 is the tasbih that we recite in Jamaat Khana. 33 times tasbih of Bibi Fatma is suggested. And 40 times tasbih is because of 40 days that Allah prepared the dough of Hazrat Adam. He needed the dough of Hazrat Adam. So we can, according to our own capacity, our own will, but we should keep it increasing. Agar 3 times का भी हम नियत करते हैं, पहले 3 दफा हम different तस्बीहात पढ़े, then we increase it, and gradually we increase it, because there will be no point just to complete the count, but getting distracted from the meaning of it and the feeling of it. So sometimes it's also a good idea not to count it, just do it and make sure that your heart is in there. So this is also a very good idea. So doing it just in a fast way, or just to feel that, oh, counting ho gayi hai ki nahi ho gayi hai, abhi itna baki hai, that might distract us at time. So having a number is a good thing, but the purpose of that number is that you increase your tasbih. So it is okay if you say it 3 times, 7 times, 40 times, if you could say, but say it with alert mindedness. So whatever counting is there, that is fine. Yeah.
Leila Pirani, please unmute yourself.
Actually, I had one more for her. Shainaz, you know, when people who do manta, they also do manta with salwat. Is that a proper practice?
I mean, I have not seen any formal instruction. There might be some if somebody online could also enlighten. But yes, because Salwat is a very important tasbih, and if we do a niyat that we will recite Salwat for 7 days. Mostly this is a personal decision that we did, that we are doing tasbih of Salwat for 40 days or we are doing any other tasbih for 7 days. So when we have an affliction, when we have a problem, we say that, okay, hum niyat karte hain ki hum 7 din ki tasbih karenge. It's a very good habit. It's a very good tradition. I think we should encourage people, but also giving a direction that apart from facing the worldly problem, this tasbih should also give you a strength for your spiritual life. If you combine both the aims and purposes, it will have a greater benefit rather than confining it to a very small purpose. But to solve a problem, to achieve something in life, if we have done a niyat, a mantha, that we will do 40 days tasbih or 3 days tasbih or 5 days tasbih, I think that is perfectly fine. We should create all the opportunities to get connected, and this is one of the way that our the elders of our families have taught us, that you can get connected. Aap kuch dinon ki salawat ki tasbih padhein, kuch din Bibi Fatima ki tasbih padhein. So yes, we can do that, and because it gives us an opportunity to recite increased tasbihs. और उसके लिए जो भी बहाना हो, कोई मिन्नत हो, कोई दुनिया की मुश्किल हो, अपने किसी बच्चे को कहीं पे कोई इम्तिहान पास करना हो, अगर हम एक नियत करते हैं और तस्बीह करते हैं, तो दैट इज फाइन, इट शुड बी प्रैक्टिस्ड, क्योंकि ये तस्बीह करने की आदत डालेगा. लेकिन उस तस्बीह को करते हुए अगर उस तस्बीह की मीनिंग भी पता हो, एंड यू से दैट या मौला, ओके, आई हैड थॉट कि प्राइमरीली मैं इसके लिए नियत करूंगी, बट आई एक्सटेंड माय नियत एंड आस्किंग यू टू हेल्प मी थ्रू दिस तस्बीह फॉर माय स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ आल्सो. So, and sometimes if you can't do that, just focusing on that worldly problem, I think that is also very much fine, because you are at least doing tasbih, trying to get connected.
Leila Pirani, please unmute yourself.
Hello. Can you hear me, Shahnaz Bhai?
Yes, Leila.
Okay. Okay. I want to ask you two things. You know, when we say Giryaozari tasbih, the way you said it, it is so advanced. For us, it's in a very, very simple language. And I wonder that we don't have to actually speak it. If you think it, Mola can know what is in your mind. Or isn't that true?
Okay. Yes, Mola knows what is in our mind, but Mola wants his children to speak about it, you know, because when prophets were saying that, Ya Mola, help us, Allah knew that they need help, and he exactly knows where we stand and from where we have to start our journey. So while it is very true that Mola knows each and everything, he also knows our limitations, he also knows our strengths. But when you speak up, you know your child's requirement, you know where he stands, you also know his strengths, you also know areas of improvement. But when he speaks up, it's nice, it's good to hear, you get to understand more perhaps, and by expressing those things, you get you also are able to think, because it's a matter of this world, so you understand what he exactly needs and you try to help him likewise. So I think when we speak, it does not help Mola, it helps us, that we take the burden off our hearts, we speak to him, we implore, and that is primarily helping us. It awakens us from the sleep. So in the beginning, if we just say tasbih, if we don't know how to say other sentences in Giryaozari, that is fine. But since it is personal, it is informal, so develop a conversation with Mola, and it will always help. So through this conversation, it is primarily our heart is awakened, and it helps us first. And Mola already knows. So yeah, he knows, but it is helping us, and that's where we should be speaking about our state of our heart. Initially, just recite Ginan, just recite Farman, just say tasbihs in few sentences which you may say, and gradually increase those. Yeah.
Okay. Now about Ya Rab Bala Bigardi, what I heard was it was Ali Shah Mahbub, Sultan Muhammad Shah's father, who had
Okay.
requested that prayer. But I think I understand it. You have to recite it for 40 days, the same tasbih. And you really can't give up when your difficulties are, you have to continue the tasbih. Yeah.
Okay. Have you finished?
I'm finished about that, but I just wanted to also ask you that you also do, beside Giryaozari, you do also zikr, right? And
Yes.
also say zikr, tasbih, and your Baitul Khayal Sashabda. So
Yes.
can you say this all as you feel right, anytime, any day, as much as you want?
Good. Okay. So first question. Okay, thank you. Perhaps, as I said, I wasn't sure that this tasbih was given by whom and where.
Yeah.
So if it was Tata Alisha, and he instructed the Jamaat for 40 times to recite this tasbih, then yes, it was for that particular time that this instruction was there. Yeah. And when we recite tasbih, I personally would feel that it is good if you can recite as much more, like 40 times, 100 times. Some say that there are 124,000 prophets, so you should say it as many times. So there are big numbers in Quran, and I think they indicate that you should be doing tasbih for that long numbers, that big number. For example, Allah mentioned 70,000 people. Those big numbers appear in Quran: 50,000, 70,000, 124,000. And yes, if somebody could do that, that is fine. If that tasbih was given in a particular time to recite, and it was for 40 days, for 40 times, then it was given etikaf by Mawla to that Jama'at, and that was fixed that you should be doing it. Otherwise, I personally feel that it is not, it could not be that rigid, but you do it as much time as possible. But if you feel that since there was a tradition and Jamaat recited it for 40 times, so you have to do it for 40 times, I think that is perfectly fine. And rather than not reciting it, people may recite it a few times at least, and those who feel very determined, they may recite it 40 times or more than that. Yeah. And your second question was about Isme Azam. As we all have heard that in Canada, some nurses approached Mawla through some missionary or some amaldars that they were on duty and they could not recite Isme Azam. So Mawla allowed them to recite it before going to duty or after the duty, I think. That's what I have heard. So for Isme Azam, a particular time is given, and that time is given, and it has a logic that your mind is fresh, you have slept. In a way, your body has been refreshed and transformed. And this is the time of peace. During the daytime, you have so many other thoughts, so many things on your mind. So the best time to recite that Isme Azam from 4 to 5. And I think that is the instruction. But perhaps this is also true that those who are in higher majlises recite it for 2 hours or 3 hours, or they try to prolong this tasbih of Isme Azam, then they could do it, they could do it at night also. I mean, personally, I feel if you can have all those conditions present, peace, not disturbing from anything, and your mind at peace, and if you want to recite it more, that could be fine. But I think the best time Mawla has given to us is that. In the other timings, we can recite certain other tasbihs, and those tasbihs would be an extra coaching, because of which our main task in the classroom will be refined. So if we could restrict this particular tasbih from 3 to 5 or 4 to 5, and do other tasbihs during the daytime, to give strength to this tasbih, while we have so many other asma to recite, 100 names of Allah. So reciting other names, because then the condition in which the Isme Azam should be practiced is not disturbed, and we are honoring that ism in the way Maula wants us to. That is my personal opinion.
Fatima Dhanani, can you please unmute yourself?
So much. I just want clarification on the pronunciation.
Fatima, Fatima, we can't hear you very well. Can you increase your mic or get closer to the mic?
Okay, can you hear me now?
No, it's the same.
Oh, really? Oh, I'm on my cell.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I just want clarification on the pronunciation of Ya Rabballah Tasbih. I really I enjoy reciting this. I feel the power in this tasbih, but I just wanted to know, I have always recited it as Ya Rabballah Begarda Bahakka Shahe Marda. I've seen this pronunciation you know, when I've Googled. So just wanted to know which one is correct, because I heard you say Ya Rabballah Begardan Bahakka Shahe Mardan.
Yeah, it's a Persian. This tasbih is in Persian words. So it says Ya Rab, O my nourisher, O my Lord. Bala is calamity, affliction, musibat. Bala begardan. You just lift that bala, that musibat from me. So perhaps in writing, Ya Rab and Bala are mixed up, I guess. So it is Ya Rab Bala Bigardan and not Ya Rab Bala.
So,
Okay,
but,
so yeah.
Okay, so you said Mardan. I've seen another. I mean, I've seen that written as Marda, Marda.
Okay, that is also fine. It is pronounced both ways, but actually in Persian language there is not noon gunna. It has to be a noon. So you can either say it Ya Rabbala Bigarda Bihakke Shahi Marda, and you can say it with noon also. So I think both pronunciations are fine.
Oh, good. Okay. No, thanks so much for that. I was worried that I was pronouncing it wrong.
You're
thank
welcome.
you so much. Yeah,
Thank you.
And it I'm just so touched. Shanaz, you are truly a blessed soul, and we are so grateful and so blessed to have you in our life.
Thank you very much. I am blessed with your presence. Yeah,
Shukr,
thank you.
Alhamdulillah. Shukr.
Shukr,
Salima, we have a question in the chat. Someone just cries listening to some ginans or saying ginans and tasbih automatically. Tears fall without notice. Can you please say something on this?
Okay.
Or unknowingly or unintentionally?
Okay. It was, as I had shared one slide, yeah, which says that under the influence of ayat, this is, yeah, I think this is 7th slide, where Allah says that when the ayats of the beneficent were recited upon them, they fell down adoring and weeping. So under the influence of any ayat is miracle. The Ginan of Pir is a miracle. The Tasbih and our being present in Jama'at Khana is a miracle. Because the soul of Imam lives in Jamaat Khana. That's what we believe, yeah? This is the Ruhani house of Maula. So if you are in Jamaat Khana or if you are at home and you feel like crying, this is a blessing. It means those ayats, those miracles are automatically having an effect upon you. You are getting melted with that. You are a blessed soul. And you can increase that humility and that Giryaozari. If it is automatic, then you are very lucky, because many times we have to try for some while to get to that state where you can shed tears. But if it is automatic for somebody, I think it's a very good luck of that person at that moment. He has either prepared him for that blessing, or perhaps, yeah, he has been in it for a while. But if it is, you are being influenced by those miracles, knowingly or unknowingly, like I just said, that when Maula comes for Didar, and we cry, and we don't know, we can't even explain it to anybody that why did we cry. So because he was the greatest miracle of Allah, that ayat had an influence upon us, and tears automatically came through our eyes. So I think it's a blessing, and one has to be very grateful for that blessings.
AE, can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, Shahnaz, actually what Khalil said, he's absolutely right, that you should not shy away. If you feel like crying, you should cry in the Khane. That's great. I admire him for achieving that. But the thing is that I have a different approach. I love Bangi. I love remembrance. Giryazari, I do when I do with the Jamaat, I do that. But I don't do Giryazari in the Khane, that as a Giryazari. And the question is, I love Bangi, and the Bangi also gives power. Like if I go, let's say, if I have a surgery or if I have a dental treatment, I don't need anesthesia or anything. And also, like it's a otherwise there's a waste of time to think anything. It's the best time to do Bangi. So I do Bangi even in that area where where it's no. But like I use remembrance more in the Bangi that I do in the daytime. But when I do the Bangi, like you said, that when you have to go, that's when I have to use the ball. That's what the Imam has given the link. But Bangi can be done anytime, no? Or Giryazari is the only way to achieve that toward the Nur? Like Giryazari is one of the way, is one of the important thing to do. But is the Giryazari's status, let's say, Bangi, remembrance, and the Giryazari? So Giryazari is I know Peer used to do Giryazari and all that, but Giryazari is one of the, you can say, a way to do that. But Bangi in remembrance, because even in the Shia community, like they cry a lot. They have a lot of remembrance and they cry also, because remembrance of Imam Zaman, who is the guy Imam, like we have Imam Zaman, who is Hazar Imam. So
okay. I think I get your question. Would you please allow me to respond? I think that there is a vast umbrella of remembrance in which you can do zikr, you could do Giryaozari. Special bandagi has its own place, but you can recite all other names of Allah in the name of remembrance. So under this overall umbrella, you can do your special bandagi, you can do general bandagi, you can do zikr. Zikr is like reciting names of Allah or reciting a tasbih. That is known as zikr. So zikr is loud and zikr is also silent zikr. And yes, so within the big umbrella of remembering Allah, because when Allah says, He says, Uskurullah, remember Allah. Then at different other points, He says different things. But in the big umbrella of remembrance, then there are many small things, And even the majlis of ilm is ilmi zikr, ilmi ibadat. We call it ilmi ibadat. And the other sects, I'm not very sure. When Shia cry, there is a message behind that crying, is that they cry, they mourn the death of Imam Hussain. So, and we Ismailis don't do that. And Imam Sultan Shah has said that tumko matam ka gham nahi karna hai, tumko marifat ka gham karna hai. So, while I appreciate that you do it at different occasions and even in your worldly life, okay, that is our personal achievements or strengths. But in the wider umbrella of remembrance, you can do anything. Special bandagi has its own place. You can recite Ginan, this is also remembrance. You can do sujood, it is also remembrance. You can recite one name loudly or within your heart, this is also remembrance. So, yeah, so I think that's how we can sort it out. And the crying which is done in love of Imam, imploring, looking for his didar, is a very different kind of crying. And perhaps we can't mix it with the crying which is to mourn the death of Imam, because for us Nurani Jama is always there. But this is going far away from our topic. Thank you very much. I think somebody else has raised hands.
Yeah. Leila Jasani, please, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, my son is. Hi, Ali Madad, Missionary Saiba. Two questions. One was regarding one person mentioned about tears falling while doing the Giryazari. As a youngster, I don't feel emotional or I don't feel like crying. So does that mean I'm doing something wrong in my life, or am I less blessed than anybody else? That was the first question.
Okay.
And second question was if you could just how you explain the meaning and the clarity of words of that tasbih, Rab Bala Be Garda. Could you also elaborate on the second line after that?
Okay. 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 Thank you. No, there is nothing wrong. There are two things, ibadat and ilm. And these are like two oars of a ship that you row a ship with both of these things. So ibadat and ilm, they both go side by side and we have to do both. If you're trying for knowledge and right now if you're not feeling that emotional or you think that you can't shed tears, there is nothing wrong in that. You continue. You know what happens when we progress in knowledge and we come to know a lot of virtues about Imam, when we know a lot of beauty, his beauty, it automatically affects our heart, and ultimately we may end up being emotional about Imam because knowledge lifts the veils of Imams. Yeah. So you can, if you feel that you can concentrate on ilm more, knowledge, this attracts you more, please continue. There is nothing wrong that you can't be emotional, you can't shed tears. It will ultimately come. But there should be some efforts for that time and here and now. So you can sometimes, it's okay that you don't have tear, but you can say a few of the things to Mola. You can try and start a conversation with him personally. And you say, Mola, while I know that Giryaozari is something that that will open up my heart, this is a way for spiritual progress. But right now, I'm not, perhaps I'm not prepared for that, and I seek your help. And like the lovers, like the ashik of Imams did that, you also helped me do that. But it does not mean that you are lacking anything at the moment. You understand it and you are struggling. And that has a lot more meaning than doing it and perhaps not knowing about it, you know. So I think there is nothing wrong. And second question is, Ya Rab Bala Bigardan Behaqqe Shahi Mardan. जैसे हम उर्दू में कहते हैं ना कि शाही मर्दान is Maula Murtaza Ali. It is the title of Maula Murtaza Ali. Shahi Mardan means the king of all men. So he is the best amongst the men. I mean, of course, it means both the genders also, but the best among the men. But Mardan is also used as a bravery. It's a symbol as a bravery. So, Ya Rab Bala Bigardan Behakke Shahi Mardan. Shahi Mardan, who is the valor, who is the brave Imam, who is better than all the human beings on the earth, because he also has a Zulfiqar. So, in his sake, with his blessings, you know, in the sake of Maula Murtaza Ali's bravery, you lift that bala from us. So this is the second line, Bahakke Shahi Mardan, for the sake of Shahi Mardan, for the sake of his bravery, you lift that bala from us. So Ya Rab Bala Bigardan, O Maula, lift the bala, lift the musibat, Bahakke Shahi Mardan, for the sake of the bravery of Maula Murtaza Ali, who is Shahi Mardan. Yeah.
Okay, Shenazapa, this is the last question we are taking, as it is 11 here and 12 at Zinat Appa's side. So anybody has any questions, put your questions in the chat box and we will forward it to Shenazapa. Nigar Manji, please, can you unmute yourself? Nigar Manji?
Yes. Yali Madat.
Yali Madat.
Thank you very much, Shenazapa, for very good knowledge and good talk. I would like to know what is the difference between Giryaozari and Zikr.
Okay. You can do Zikr with Giryaozari. Like Zikr is like I just recited Mushkila Sanyali, Madad Rasanyali, or we are reciting Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Subhanallah, Bibi Fatma's Tasbih. So Zikr is remembrance. Whatever you do to remember him. It could be Zikr, it could be Sajud, it could be conversing with Mola. It could be reciting a Ginan. It could be reciting a Farman. If you do it with tender-heartedness, with crying, so Giryaozari is an overall scheme of things, that you do ibadat with Giryaozari, you do sujood with Giryaozari, you are reciting your normal dua with Giryaozari. So Giryaozari is an additional element which you can add to your all levels of your ibadat and all forms of your ibadat. Then it becomes a very special ibadat. When you match it with Giryaozari, every ibadat which you perform, it becomes a very special ibadat.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Mola bless you.
Ameen, Ilahi Ameen.
Thank you so much, Shahnaz Appa. It was very knowledgeable, and I see many comments here saying thank you and appreciating you. And we will let you know about the next session very soon, and we will be sending the recordings. If anyone has any questions, put it in the chat box. Thank you so much. Thank you, Appa. Thank you, Shahnaz Appa. Thank you, all
Thank
my
you.
help. Thank you, Zinat Appa, Faiza Appa, Khayal Ali, everybody. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you,
Thank you,
Salima,
Shahnaz
Inat,
Appa.
Aziz.
Thank
Thank
you very
you.
much. Okay.
Zinat Appa.
Yes, I am on. So Salima.
Thank you, Shahnaz Appa.
Aziz, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Zinat Appa. Thank you, Salima.
Welcome, welcome. Okay, thank you everybody, all the co-hosts. So Salima, go ahead and copy your chat.
You want me to stop the recording, right?
Yes.